of 2 chapters. So I'll do it as 2 chapters in the equivalent of. So 12 sections, I'm going to do 6. La-di-da, aren't you lucky? All right, so chapter 62, part 6. Mom, Jonathan whined in protest, and I've noticed the beginning of a lot of these are getting cut off. I need to wait for the counter to start. I don't know, there's a little bit of dead space there, so I'll try to be careful of that. Mom, Jonathan whined in protest. Well, you are, she retorted. Mike launched into his tale again before they could argue anymore. It was too dark to go looking for them. We decided we'd give them until lunchtime the next day, and then a couple of us would go follow their tracks. Kathy wanted us to start out at first light, but I was afraid they might not take the same path back that they took there, and we'd miss them. I figured if they didn't make it back by midday, something was really wrong. Jeff leaped back in at this point. When it started getting light, I woke Jonathan up. We'd covered ourselves with leaves and branches to stay warm. It helped some, but I was pretty stiff still from the cool night and the hard ground. Jonathan's ankle looked a little less swollen, but he still couldn't put any weight on it. We were both starving. If I just brought a 22 and some matches, there were tons of squirrels and rabbits around the creek we could have eaten. I decided I had to take the water back and get some help to come back and get him. I drank as much as I could out of the bucket we'd been using and left the rest with him. With only 40 pounds of water and my Mini 14, I made it back in 2 hours. Kathy was watching for us, and when she saw me coming by myself, I thought she was going to lose it. I told her that Jonathan just sprained his ankle and couldn't walk on it. She cussed me up one side and down the other for leaving him by himself. Jeff grinned at his sister-in-law. I told you I was sorry, she said. Once she calmed down, we decided everyone was well enough to travel. Jeff continued, I drew Mike a map, gobbled down an MRE, put my pack back on the frame, and took the first aid kit and the now empty bucket and headed back to Jonathan ahead of the group. I took him an MRE too. Even though the day before we decided we'd ration ourselves to half an MRE a day, we figured everyone should eat a full one since we'd been sick, Mike added. When I got back to Jonathan, he wolfed down the MRE like he hadn't eaten in a week. I gave him some ibuprofen and headed back to the creek to refill the buckets. I knew it would take the rest of the family almost until dark to get to where we were, so I scouted around a little. There was only one house within about a half-mile radius. It was deserted and had been ransacked like the one that we'd seen 2 days before. At least whoever looted it hadn't burned it like the other one. I went through the house, but couldn't find anything we really needed. There was some bleach, but it was the kind that has other stuff besides chlorine in it. You wouldn't have stolen anything, even if you could have used it, would you? Mark asked, as if the very thought repulsed him. Mark, I struggled with that as I was looking. I know it's immoral to take stuff that doesn't belong to you, but how moral is it to watch your kids go hungry? You guys don't know how lucky you have it here. Jeff almost sounded a little angry. It's bad out there, and the answer to your question is yes. I would have taken food or anything else that would have helped us from a deserted house. If I hadn't, someone else would have. That doesn't make it right, Mark argued. No, it doesn't, but right and wrong are a lot easier to discern when you're warm, sheltered, and fed. I would have taken the food if there had been any, and later we did take some things we found. I'd never hurt anyone or take anything from someone's possession, but if something's abandoned, I consider it finders keepers. I guess it all comes down to where you draw the line. I guess so, Mark said, not wanting to argue the point in front of everyone.